I got my first real six-string, bought it at the 5 and dime, played it till my fingers bled, was the summer of '69.
Kenny, what's going on here? It looks like you got Bartholomew set up on shock pads or something.
Yeah, she's up on scale pads. Scaling is something that's very important in racing. That makes a difference in how the car handles and how it don't. Take all the guesswork out of going to the track like they used to in the old days and work for 4, 5, 6 nights to try to get them dialed in. There's a lot into the scaling. I mean, you got this caster camber gauge for setting your caster and camber on your front end, which it will show you difference in the way the wheel leans in and out, the way your ball joint line up. You get that all. You got to get that set and dialed in. These are pretty easy to use. These are they're magnetic. Just sticks on the wheel. You'll zero it out and go through your motions to turn your wheel to the left, turn it back to the right, center your bubble and stuff like that. That way you can dial in your caster and camber on the car. That's something that's important in all forms of racing. We've got these toe plates, which they're used for setting toe in or toe out on the front end. You put one on each side of the car, then you can take tape measures and stretch it over and hook the one on that side and read whatever you have here. That way you can try to set it to where your front end is an 1/8 to 1/4 inch wider than what the back is, so you'll have 1/8 to 1/4 inch toe out, which that's something else. Front end geometry and how it works affects the handling of the cars also. They're not just one of them things you just show up on Saturday night with a car and you run out front. You got to work on them all week.
Now, is that measurement you gave us, is that unique to your car, or is that pretty general?
Pretty general, all cars. Try to run an 1/8 to 1/4 inch toe out on the front end of them. And then back over here with the car, back talking about the scales a while ago, you've got different settings on it to where, like this here tells you what the left side of the car is. This here will tell you what your just rear weight percentage is. The cross is what tells you what it weighs from the right front to the left rear. And then your rear bite, that's how much bite the car has in the left rear, as far as how much heavier it is there. But these things, they'll tell you everything. You've got all that. Oops, don't look at Bartholomew's weight. You know how women get upset on their weight. It shows it again, but we'll just have to let it go. That'll show you your actual, how many pounds are equalized out on all 4 corners of the car. A lot of times when you're scaling, you want to, I always take a dowel rod and I'll try to mark it like there. I got 10 gallon, 13 gallon, 16 gallon, 22 gallon. I think right here is about 32 gallon. I think this line up here means I've got it way too full on fuel. But you'll always figure your car the same way every time you scale it with the same amount of fuel. That way you can get the same reaction back from the car. And a lot of them too, another thing they'll show, I broke my angle finder gauge, but you want to take a good angle finder gauge and put it on the rear end of it. That way you'll show whatever pinion angle you got in the car, which cars they vary anywhere from, I'm going to say 6 to 10, 7 to 9, somewhere right in that area. Try to get pinion pointing downhill in the front. That'll help for forward traction. And with these cars here, being a 4-link type car, it's got 2 bars that run forward off the rear end on the left side. You've got different angles that you put in on it, which we've got that wrote down in the book here that we'll keep it closed.
I'm surprised that's not in a locked briefcase somewhere.
No, by all reality, in this book, I've got scale setups for my car. I've got scale setups for Matt Grief's truck. I've got scale setups for Ronnie Moser's car. I've got setup sheets on which it used to be Shannon Birch's number 8 Pinto, which is now Kyle Jarrett's car. I've got the setup sheets on it in here, plus Shannon Birch's modified. Which, this stuff here, it seems like we say his name all the time, but that's who I got to thank on him, because the scales, the toe plates, this stuff all belongs to Shannon, but he keeps it over here just because I come back over and I'll keep his car scaled. I guess that's the only thing you can do when he owns the stuff, right?
Well, it's good that he lets you share.
Just I'm kind of centrally located here in town. I mean, he lives out out in the boonies and then works on his car over in Leadington. And
But honestly, Kenny, I mean, that's one of the things that I've noticed about racers is on the track it's competitive.
mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be one bit surprised to pull in here and see somebody else's car sitting on the scales.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy Greenwald scales cars. Brent Thompson scales them. Those two names come off the top of my head. With our scales, we pretty well just take care of ourselves, and then we got a couple others that either have done something for Shannon, and we try to take care of them, or vice versa. I mean, the 17 truck of Matt Greaves, it was built right across the street here, and so I done the interior in that truck. Gary built the truck, and just kind of one of the things to try to help out, rub the guy's back that'll rub yours. That kind of sounded gay, but didn't mean to be. Another good practice to get into, that's on any car, is go out and get you a good tire grinding wheel. You can get them for the big grinder, or you can get them from the small one. I like the small one because it won't get away from you. But tires will always take, after you run them, they'll seal over on you. And if you don't grind them, all you got to do is, well, let it run it and do better, is just barely grind the surface back off, and that'll bring life back to the tire. I neglected to do that Saturday night, and my car was a handful trying to get around the racetrack. Matter of fact, we spun out.
Come on, Lisa, kick the pillow.
Hey, here's a go.
Kick the pillow.
I told you. Sorry, babe. You know how these people get.
I feel privileged. I'm locked in a room with Bartholomew.
I kind of feel that way at times too. This one here was dedicated to those of 9/11 and our military at war. We painted that car up and had, which that was a Southpaw car. We done the running with the flag, and then his theme of it was it's the only time these colors will run. This was another Southpaw car that he done for me. Pretty well all them roofs and hoods I got up there are Southpaw. That was a hood, and I left the dirt on the hood when I won my 100th feature. I took that hood off the car and put it up, and put one of these old ones back on it. August 22nd of 2008, 100th career feature win. Where that one was dedicated to Mama Paisano, Bobby's mom, in '08 when she died, and we was a little bit late getting started racing. Did hear he might have picked up 2 new sponsors, Doe Run Raceway.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Who did you pick up?
White Sight Limousine Cadillac and Fudd Truckers, home of the crazy 4-wheel drive conversion. I'm hoping now that they picked him up, we might get Goggles Paisano to the racetrack, maybe do an interview with him. But Goggles, if you are listening, I did find an alternator for your helicopter. Call CarQuest of Potosi at 438-0030. They have one in stock for you. Gentlemen, start your engine!